Hi, I'm Alastair Hendy and welcome to my home. Each week on No Meat Required, I'll be cooking great tasting food using the flavours, textures and colours of vegetables and fruit. I'll also having great fun showing you how easy it is to make this good food without meat. I'll have a guest cook on each programme too, and they'll be coming in to cook one of their favourite recipes. Anyway, more about my guests later. In the meantime, let's go and do some cooking. Today I've got a bit of a herb theme going, and my first recipe is actually two recipes, and I'm looking at coriander and rocket. And what I'm going to make is a lovely fresh rocket and pea soup, and also a coriander and avocado toast. But we'll start on the rocket and pea soup first. Now what I've got over here, I've got an onion which has just been finely chopped with some garlic crushed, and that's just been gently cooking down just till it's soft. So I'm going to add my rocket to that. Good big bunch of it straight in. And all you want to do with this is just soften it a little. Just to wilt it down to keep the colour and the flavour. Rocket has a lovely peppery flavour and you don't want to lose it without overcooking it. Just wilt it very slightly. At the back here I've got some peas that have been cooking in some vegetable stock. So just peas and a good vegetable stock. You can use a stock cube. Put that all in together. Mix it round and just let that bubble away for just a minute really. It's just to really wilt the rocket. So we'll just leave that. Pinch of sugar actually is a good idea as well, just to sweeten it slightly. And I put salt and pepper in here already, so we don't need any more seasoning. So we'll take that off the heat. And I'll just bring that over here. And I'm going to blast that in the processor, just to puree it. So in it goes. That's it, all in. Just about takes it. And lid on, just poke that down a little bit. And we blast away. And I'm going to cut some bread while that's pureeing, and I cut some bread for my avocado and coriander toast. This is going to be toasted. A couple of slices. Ordinary tin loaf into the toaster. And this should be just about there. So we'll give it another go. That's perfect. So I'm going to pour that, ready for serving in a minute, into this bowl. It's just wonderful. Lovely, thick rocket and pea soup. And you could serve this chilled, actually. It's lovely chilled, but I'm going to serve it warm with a good slug of olive oil in it and some parmesan. Or you could put a spoonful of creme fraiche. So we'll just leave that there until I'm ready to serve it. Back to the toast. While that's toasting, what I've got here is 2 avocados. This is a fouette and this is a Hass. The Hass actually has a little bit more richer flavour. They're good, but they have a slightly more watery flavour, and I opt for the Hass every time. It's always the best one. So when you open an avocado, just cut round like that, open. And the best way to get the stone out is just to take your knife and go like this, and it should just pull out. It's easy. Now, remember, with avocados, once you've split them open, oxygen gets in and they start going brown, so they need lots of lime juice. So I'm going to just rub that a little bit to keep it moist. And what goes onto my toast is jalapeno Tabasco, which this is not your regular red Tabasco, it's a green one made from jalapeno chilies, and it's slightly milder. So what we're going to do, it's very simple this. I think my toast is just about there, it's coming on. What we'll do is we'll get the soup over here. It's just to say peas, which you've got here, the peas that I used in the rocket and pea soup, these are fresh ones, but you know, you can use frozen. So I'll go back to the toast. Toast is perfect. So what we do here is I'm going to get my serving plate. A bit of olive oil. Be quite generous with this. A bit of sea salt. On like that. And some scoops, just simple scoops, really simple. So you just do this with a teaspoon. You don't have to. You could actually do it with a puree, and I'm going to show you something else. I pureed some avocado here already, which has just been pureed with lots of lime juice and the jalapeno tabasco that I talked about just now. I'm going to show you how you could serve that, say, for a party. Very similar to guacamole, except I haven't put spring onions or tomatoes. So serve that like that. Back to this one. And a good old go with the jalapeno. I mean, I like things quite hot, so you can. This isn't too hot, though, it's quite mild. And some coriander, which is what this one's all about. Some lovely fresh coriander. It's packed on there. And a bit more oil. So what I'm going to do is serve up my soup now, which I've got here ready-made. And I'm going to put some parmesan on top of this. You could, as I say, put creme fraiche. I mean, this is lovely. Okay, the smell of those peas and that rocket is just fantastic. I've made it quite thick, but you could thin it down a little bit more if you wanted to. But look at that colour as well. We've got locked in all those flavours of the peas and the rocket without overcooking it. So we'll take some flakes of parmesan, just to finish it with, and a good bit of olive oil again. So we just take them off with a knife. Sorry, it's a bit thick. My parmesan's gone into a funny shape, so it's kind of awkward. Just a few shavings like that. That's it. A bit of olive oil. Now what I'm going to put in here, again, I'll go back to my chives. It's such a good way of serving. You just put your chives in a bowl, 2 bowls you need, 1 bowl for the soup, another bowl underneath. Put your soup on top, like that. Take your parmesan, a bit of olive oil just to finish, just give it a little bit of richness. And then a few flakes of the old parmesan, just piled on top like that. And that's the soup and the toast. So here we have avocado, coriander toast, and rocket and pea soup with parmesan. Join me after the break when I'll be cooking asparagus, parmesan and poached egg tart, and I'll be joined by Thane Prince. Welcome back. My guest today was once a nurse, but now is acclaimed as one of our best home cooks. Thane has written 8 books. The most recent, Simply Good Food, was published in 1999, and for years she wrote the Daily Telegraph's cookery column. She has had 4 of her own series on the Carlton Food Network and made numerous guest appearances on others. As if that wasn't enough, she has recently opened her own cookery school in Aldborough, Suffolk. Hi Thane.
Hi there.
Lovely to see you.
You.
And you've got such a lovely amount of herbs here on our herb theme today.
Fabulous.
And you're going to
fresh
cook
herbs. I'm going to cook 2 pasta dishes.
Great.
One that's just going to be with an herb-infused oil, and
Right.
the other one that's going to have fresh herbs chopped through it.
Sounds delicious.
Good.
Okay.
Shall we get started?
What would you like me to do?
Well, I'm going to start off on my oil. So could you grate the courgettes for me?
So this is a courgette and
Courgette and rocket dish.
Oh,
Rocket's going to be the
great.
herb because it is a herb. We see it now.
skin on.
Skin on.
Okay.
Lots of flavour.
Borrow one of your knives.
Lots of colour.
Okay.
And I'm going to start on my infused oil. You saw I was crushing my garlic cloves here. You don't really need to peel these, just pop them in there.
And where does this come from, this pasta dish?
Both the dishes that I'm doing 2 at once because that's the second dish, come from Umbria in Italy, and I teach there every year.
I was going to say, I thought you had a cooking school out there.
Well, actually my school's in Suffolk, but I teach out at other people's schools.
Of course, yeah.
And it's really great fun. Could you just stop what you're doing for a minute and pass me some rosemary?
I'll do that, yeah.
I need a bit of rosemary in
There you
here. This aglio con peperoncino dish
Say
is
that again.
aglio con peperoncino. I can only say dove un telefono, c'è una banca, and that's it. If anyone answers, I'm absolutely
Well, I can't
rubbish.
say either of those.
But I say it with, with all that sexy Italian accent. It's just an infused dish. It's a peasant dish.
So we don't even peel, it's just smash the garlic in there. Really simple.
Really simple. And you just put this on the back of the oven to warm through. Now, I'm using rosemary, but we could use sage, we could use thyme.
Yeah, we have some sage and thyme.
I think we'll just keep it fairly clean
let's
today.
keep it to
so I'm going to
rosemary,
pop that on. You carry on doing that if you would.
How much would you like?
I want 2 courgettes.
Okay.
Please. That's just going to go on a low heat, like that, low as I can make it, actually. We just let that sit for a minute. Do you have any more olive oil? Because I might need a bit more later on. Can you go and get me some? I'll carry on here. I think you don't want to be mean with your olive oil. When I'm in Italy, I do know that,
that's nice,
that'll do nicely. That the last thing in the world you want to do is cheat on the olive oil.
Yeah.
I also know that you can drink as much wine as you like and eat as much oil when you're in Italy and don't put on any weight. So that's a nice thought, isn't it?
Well, I can see that. You're so slim.
You're not
and I'm sure you love eating, so you must eat lots.
The next dish I'm going to start is my courgette.
Just to go back to rocket a bit, just going, that's a herb as well, isn't it?
And it grows wild all over
Because people tend to think of it as a salad leaf.
Well, that's because we think of it now as a salad leaf. I'm going to warm up my pan while we talk. We think of it as a salad leaf now, but in fact it used to just be, always was a herb. It grows wild all over Italy.
And us Brits have just discovered it, really, haven't we?
have. It's called rucola. So this dish is tagliatelle con zucchini e rucola.
And zucchini is for courgette,
Zucchini is called courgette, and they call them zucchini in America, which sort of confuses me. That's lovely. I'll take that now, if I may. It's going in my pan.
Great colour, isn't it? Oh,
fantastic. I'm only going to cook it for moments. And it's going in my pan with olive oil because it's just a very simple, almost a sort of heated sauce, this.
Right.
You'll notice that because these are Umbrian dishes, no tomatoes.
We don't need tomatoes in pasta
You
every time,
don't have to have tomatoes in
Tell you
pasta.
what I like about this as well is it's much truer to how Italians do the sauces that they cook pasta. Things are small, chopped finely, so that the pasta's properly coated with the sauce.
And also they like the pasta.
Yeah.
The pasta is the point of the dish.
It's the essential point
it's
of the
not
dish.
getting half a pound of meat in with your bolognese, it's pasta.
And again, I don't think you put parmesan on your infused oil spaghetti, do you?
You don't. You don't.
So you just enjoy the spaghetti with all those wonderful flavours that have gone in the oil.
That's right.
For exactly what it is.
And it's going to be amazing because the first time I tried it, I couldn't believe it because we drain all those things out. So it just looks like a boil of oiled spaghetti, but the flavours, the perfumes are quite wonderful.
Lovely.
Now,
so how long does this cook for?
Well, just until it's sort of wilted down. We want to drive off.
So we can keep the texture and the flavour.
Keep the texture and the freshness.
Not too much oil, I notice.
No, just get rid of some of the water.
Right.
And behind you, you've got some very fancy Umbrian pasta, haven't you?
Ciriolini, I think we call this.
Ciriolini, yes.
Ciriolini. Okay.
And what I'm going to show you is you can cook it ahead and blanch it off till it's nearly done. Chill it down. I'm not going to show you this, but I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
And then
and
once
you just toss it in the oil. Are you going to sieve the oil or?
No, this is the first one. I'm on my courgettes. I'm sorry. I knew I'd confuse everybody by doing it this way. Onto the courgettes like that.
Lovely.
And then if you could just take that for me. Give this a stir around. Your heat is quite fierce, isn't it?
Do you want me to chop some of this parsley ready for the...
I would love you to, but what I need you to do quickly is grate some parmesan.
OK, I'll do that.
A lot of parmesan.
So how do you like it grated?
Coarsely again. This is a peasant dish.
Coarsely.
I ate it at sort of almost a transport cafe in Orvieto, which is near where I teach.
Right.
And
so they would favour it coarsely grated rather than fine.
And the point about peasant dishes is they eat whatever's in season, whatever's fresh and whatever's locally available.
Lovely.
And I just love that sort of eating. No waste. So no messing around, no prissying about.
Are there such things as shavings of parmesan in Italy, or is that a British
Well, they do shave parmesan a bit, but normally they just whack it. That's fantastic, OK? Now then.
So it's kind of the same grating size as the courgette?
Absolutely. This is meant to look...
Do I put that in there?
No, in the bowl.
OK.
Get the bowl, because you're much better at this than I am. So if you could pop all that in the bowl.
OK.
Have we put seasoning in? If we haven't, I'll just put a bit more in, just in case.
OK, I'll get the tongs.
A bit of salt. A little bit of freshly crushed pepper. OK, and that into the bowl.
OK. That looks lovely, and it smells delicious too.
And it's so fresh, and it's so light and simple to do. And there's no way you wouldn't have these ingredients in the cupboard.
OK.
And then on top, there's a handful of rocket. Let me take that one out of your way.
Okay, and the parmesan.
And then the parmesan. No, rocket first.
Rocket first, okay. No more olive oil, just a little bit of...
No, I don't think you need it. I think you can sometimes over-egg the pudding, don't you?
Okay, and the oil we've got infusing, how's that going to go?
That I'm going to strain now into the dish here.
I'll finish this one off.
All ready to go. Oh, it's quite a hot handle there. Right. You've well-equipped kitchen. And I haven't really fried anything. I've just brought it all to the heat. I'm going to strain that like that. Okay. Can you smell that?
I can smell it from here. That just smells fantastic. I can really smell the rosemary and the garlic coming out, and the chilli. So we're going to toss that in.
Yes. I think I put all your pans out.
We had a pan, didn't we? I think we lost the pan.
I think I've...
Never mind. We'll toss it in here. We'll toss it in the oil pan.
Okay, yes, we can do.
This is what we cooked it in.
We can indeed. So toss it in here.
It's a good job I've got a heat-resistant surface, isn't it? So yeah, don't put your pans on your work surface at home like I've just done.
A little bit of your pasta in, a little bit of your hot reserved.
Ah, right. That's going to like sort of amalgamate and emulsionise the olive oil that's in. Yeah.
And then,
because I think people think they have to drench everything in olive oil all the time, which you don't. You use some of the pasta water, which I don't think we do so much.
Tongs.
Tongs, right, tongs, I'll get you.
Get me some tongs. That would be lovely. And then you just mix it together. And that makes the emulsion, it makes the sauce much lighter.
Now, would you put pepper on there or not? You have it just as it is?
No, you have it just... Well, you can put a little salt and pepper.
I can smell it. It just says simplicity in itself. Absolutely.
Do you want to chop a tiny bit? Have we got time for a little bit?
Yes, we've got time just for a little bit of parsley.
Modest bit of parsley. As I say, when I first ate this, they brought me this bowl of pasta, and I thought, spaghetti with parsley. That's one I haven't tried. And
it wasn't. You had a little surprise.
Fantastic, because the chilli just really comes through in the rosemary.
So just a little bit. Just a little bit more.
A little bit like that.
So we call this?
The Duomo pasta con olio con peperoncino.
And this one?
Tagliatelle with rucola e zucchini.
Lovely. Final dish today, and it's asparagus, parmesan and poached egg pastries. And Thane is going to help me as well, aren't you, Thane?
I would be delighted. What do you want me to do?
So what we'll start with is, I think I'll explain first. What I've got here is a few asparagus. I've got a regular British asparagus. I've got what could be termed as a Thai asparagus or a sprue asparagus.
Well, I think you're probably right, Thai asparagus.
But they're very, very similar.
Yes.
They're both, the sprue is the wild asparagus, and this looks like a very fine wild asparagus. This is water asparagus, and we've got some rather chunky stems here, which is a British one as well. And this is a white asparagus, which is very popular in Europe and Germany, isn't it?
I don't like them as much, actually.
Well, I think you really have to cook it. You really have to steam it a good 8 minutes.
Whereas you get in jars too.
That's barely at all. These are just a few minutes, like 3 minutes. Yes. Keep it a little bit of texture and bite in there. Whereas I like my white asparagus quite floppy. Slightly rude, actually.
I wouldn't even want to go there. Don't want to go there.
So what I'm going to do is the pastry it's a puff pastry, and it's topped with parmesan and some asparagus. Now, I've already got here some peeled, blanched asparagus. But what I'm going to ask you to do, Thane, if you wouldn't mind...
Absolutely.
...is just to do me some lovely shavings of parmesan.
OK, have you got a knife for me?
I have, there you are. Is that OK?
That is quite a knife.
It's quite a lethal one.
I can do that, don't
OK,
I?
great. Now, what I've done here is with this asparagus, I've just peeled the ends. Now, it's quite good to get rid of I've chopped, first of all, actually, I'm going to chop off the woody bit first.
Right,
can I borrow your knife?
Yeah, you go for it.
So just chop off all the woody ends, like that. I'll give that back to you.
It's OK, I can...
And then give it a peel, just to get rid of the slightly tougher outer skin. If it's a more delicate, narrower stem, it might not need it, especially this other sort that I've just shown you here. So, and then these have been blanched in boiling water for about 3 minutes with a bit of salt. Now, to make the tart, I've got ready rolled puff pastry.
I love that culinary technique. You take it out of the packet and put it on the tray.
It's just so easy, so easy. Thank you.
There you go.
And we cut it to make, I'm going to make 2 tarts here. I'm just going to trim off a little bit, and I'm going to trim the sides because it helps it rise, actually.
Does it? Oh,
yes,
right.
It gets sort of slightly impacted at the edges. So we're just going to...
Cut it, that's a good tip.
Put it
down. I didn't know that.
Cut it down the edge.
It was worth turning up here because you learned something new.
And just off the tops there. And the other side, and then we're done. I'll let you carry on with the parmesan. I'll give you our one knife back. So straight down There you are. Just separate those slightly. And just a bit of egg wash over them. Just all over like that. It's really simple and it's just so impressive.
Egg wash all over?
Egg wash all over. It helps the parmesan stick.
Oh, right.
Because we're going to
keep going.
We're now going to put our parmesan on.
You need loads, don't you? I'm sorry, I'm being really slow.
Worry.
Just speed up.
Parmesan all over like that.
Slightly bigger knife than I use at home, you see, so I was being a bit girly about it.
Well, we'll just do one. We only have to do one tart, that's fine. So that goes all over, and then our asparagus goes down. And this is going to go into the oven just for about 12 minutes to bake. And I'm going to top that with some poached eggs, which I'll show you once it's come back out of the oven. So we'll just get rid of that one.
I'm just going to eat this bit of parmesan, I think.
And pop that in. Bit of salt and pepper as I go. Here's the salt. And that goes in.
Here we are.
That's great. Well, I've poached my eggs, and just before I show you how to do that, the tart is ready, so Thane, please could you get it? That's great, thank you. I'm going to whip round here. Now, how to poach an egg is you break an egg into a cup. If you grease the cup slightly, it helps it slip out. You just white wine vinegar in some water, swirl the water, and then just drop the egg in the centre. That should give you quite a nice formed egg. What happens is the swirling water keeps all the albumin, the white of the yolk, together. So do that for 2.5 minutes into cold water. Do 6 or 3 or how many tarts you've made, and just let that poach. Then into cold water, and then you can reheat afterwards. Anyway, I've got some done. Here's the tart.
That looks amazing.
Lovely.
Just amazing.
These are hot. I've just done them. So we just pop these down the tart, all the way down. And I'm going to actually split them open slightly. You don't have to split them open until you serve.
Poached eggs and asparagus are wonderful.
Oh, it's just a classic combination, isn't it?
Dip the egg with the asparagus.
And then with the parmesan underneath.
Just do you want a bit more on top? Or not?
I think we'll leave it like that because I would love the pepper. I think the pepper is under the table, just here.
Oh yes. Yeah. Good.
That's great. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is just split them open to get the yolks.
Oh, that looks so good. It just looks like heaven on a plate, doesn't it?
It's just that, if they get that lovely yolk and the parmesan, a bit of pepper.
Freshly crushed.
And there we have it. I bought you a slice of my asparagus tart here, Thane.
Oh, fabulous.
So do try that. Thank you so much for coming as well. It's been great having you on the show.
Thank you for asking me.
That's all we've got time for now on No Meat Required, but please join me next time for some more great tasting food. Is that good?